What's up gamers, Lexu here with the Diablo 4 Rogue update on the upcoming Midseason 4 patch. Patch 1.4.3 is scheduled to release on June 17th, so let's cover the exciting changes coming soon. In this video I'll be focusing mainly on the changes affecting the Rogue class, but there is a notable game balance update coming for the pit. Health and damage levels are being reduced in the pit, and the adjustment is most significant as players approach tier 60, so more players can fully participate in masterworking. The scaling in the pit felt too high before, and this change will make the activity more enjoyable for players just starting the lower tiers, while allowing more builds to become viable. I'm excited for all the buffs coming to the Rogue class, especially since my favorite build, the Stealth Grenadier Rogue, is receiving a lot of love. This build has a unique playstyle of repeatedly evading around to pop in and out of stealth while dumping a crap ton of highly damaging grenades. It's probably the most fun I've had playing Diablo 4, so I highly encourage you to check out my previous video on the Stealth Grenadier Rogue. There are multiple buffs in the upcoming patch that will affect the Stealth Grenadier Rogue, so let's break them down. Three out of 4 grenade aspects are receiving buffs to damage. The main source of damage in my Stealth Grenadier build comes from Opportunist aspect, which unfortunately is not included in these buffs. Aspect of Offer Initiative would drop grenades after spending 75 energy instead of 100, and the grenade damage is increased by 50%. But Offer Initiative grenades aren't activated often enough to begin with, and it's only really imprinted for the 40% global grenade damage to increase damage on Opportunist grenades. Same deal with Trickster's aspect. A 50% damage increase to Trickster grenades won't be noticeable as caltrops are not casted often enough. The grenade update I'm actually looking forward to is the massive 200% damage increase on grenades from aspect of Surprise. Surprise grenades are the second most activated grenades in the build, after Opportunist grenades. To get a better understanding of how this change affects the overall performance of the Stealth Grenadier Rogue, let's go over some of the build details. The most basic damage rotation for the Stealth Grenadier Rogue is an evade through an enemy inflicted with Shadow Imbuement to grant stealth through aspect of Lethal Dusk, which activates Opportunist aspect to drop a cluster of 4 grenades. The evade also drops a cluster of 4 grenades from aspect of Surprise. The next step is to attack twice, usually with the cast of Puncture and then Flurry, to reset evade through evade cooldown boots, which breaks stealth to activate Opportunist aspect again to drop another 4 grenades. Now that the evade cooldown is refreshed, the rotation can be repeated as many times as needed. Each basic rotation drops 8 Opportunist grenades and 4 Surprise grenades. Prior to the 1.4.3 patch, grenades from an aspect of Surprise imprinted onto an amulet deal up to 3008 base damage, and grenades from an Opportunist aspect imprinted onto a ranged weapon deal up to 13,233 base damage. Adding up all the base damage for all the grenades in a single rotation results in 117,896 total base damage. This was already a massive amount of base damage before other multipliers are even included. The 200% damage increase to Surprise grenades provides a 3 times multiplier, bringing the grenades from an Amulet of Surprise up from 3,008 damage to 9,024 base damage. Doing the calculation for the basic rotation again results in 141,960 total base damage from all the grenades dropped. Compared to the pre-patch total base damage, the buff increases the overall damage of the basic rotation by 20%. Additionally, Surprise grenades will drop at the location the player teleports to with Shadow Step, allowing them to actually hit enemies when casted from a distance. Another buff for the Stealth Grenadier Rogue that I'm looking forward to is the Versatility Glyph damage increase from 15% to 25%. I didn't include Versatility Glyph in the build before due to the underwhelming magic node bonus effect, but the new 25% separate damage multiplier definitely makes it worthwhile. I'll just have to test whether or not the additional damage bonus effect applies to grenades. If it does indeed provide a 25% damage increase to grenades, I'll put Versatility Glyph in place of Ambush Glyph. Ambush Glyph's first bonus of increased damage to trapped enemies is additive with many other common damage increases, making it severely diminished in value, so losing it won't be noticeable. What is important is the separate damage multipliers on the additional bonuses, and going from a 1.1 times multiplier to a 1.25 times multiplier results in an almost 14% increase in overall damage. The final notable damage buff for the Stealth Grenadier Rogue is the Ring of Starless Skies damage increase from 40% to 50%. Going from a 1.4 to a 1.5 times multiplier results in a 7% increase in overall damage, and this is an item that the Heartseeker Rogue cannot utilize. In this video I calculated 3 major overall damage multipliers to the Stealth Grenadier Rogue. 1.204 times more from the Aspect of Surprise buff, 1.136 times more from the Versatility Glyph buff, and finally 1.071 times more from the Ring of Starless Skies buff. Applying all these separate damage multipliers together results in a 46% total increase in overall damage. Combined with the rebalanced tiers in the pit, the Stealth Grenadier Rogue is going to be insanely powerful with the mid-season patch. The Stealth Grenadier Rogue will also receive more survivability. The Sturdy passive and the Explosive Glyph are getting an increase in their damage reduction values, both of which are already utilized in the build. Mending Obscurity is also getting a buff to the healing amount, while also activating immediately upon entering stealth, which is quite a lot of sustainability considering how often the Stealth Grenadier Rogue enters stealth. The mid-season patch for Season 4 is quickly approaching on June 17th, so start preparing now. I recommend using the new Barrage Rogue build to level a new character, and then switching to the Stealth Grenadier Rogue when you reach level 100. You can find all my winning guides on Icy Veins. There's one last change in the patch notes that I should mention. Scoundrel's Kiss is receiving a bug fix to the aiming issue for rapid fire projectiles, and the explosion radius is being increased by 25%. The rapid fire rogue will feel much better to play, so you should look into that build on Icy Veins as well. That's all I have for this video. I hope you're as excited as I am for all the rogue buffs. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more Diablo 4 content. Until next time, peace out and happy slaying.